I never thought a Monday morning could change everything. My name's Alex, and I was running late for the new project kickoff, the kind of high stakes, company-wide initiative that makes or breaks careers. As I slipped into the conference room, I noticed her immediately. Emily. She wasn't just another colleague. There was something off about her presence. Sharp eyes that seemed to see more than they should. A calm that didn't match the chaos around us. She smiled when our eyes met. But it wasn't the ordinary, friendly kind of smile. It had depth, something calculated, something unreadable. The project manager started outlining the goals, deadlines, and responsibilities. I tried to focus, but Emily kept drawing my attention. She asked pointed questions, the kind that revealed gaps in planning, gaps nobody else noticed. People nodded, slightly uncomfortable, while I found myself intrigued. After the meeting, she walked past me with a quick good luck, and I felt a chill, though I couldn't explain why. Something about the way she carried herself hinted that she wasn't just playing her part in this project, she was orchestrating, observing, testing. That evening, I caught myself thinking about her more than I wanted to, not because she was attractive, though she was, but because there was a mystery around her I couldn't ignore. By the time I left the office, I had a strange sense that this project wasn't going to be ordinary. And Emily wasn't going to be an ordinary colleague. Something in her behavior suggested storms were coming, ones I didn't see yet, ones that could hit me in ways I wasn't prepared for. I didn't know it at the time, but this meeting, this first encounter, would spiral into a chain of events that would twist my life upside down. One wrong move, one missed detail, and the world I thought I knew could unravel completely. That night, I went home, replaying the meeting in my head. Emily's smile, her eyes, that subtle way she challenged authority without defiance, like she knew exactly what she was doing. I wasn't ready for it yet. I had no idea how much trouble would come from a simple Monday morning. The next few days at work were strange. Emily was always present, but never predictable. She would disappear for long stretches during critical moments, then return with solutions that seemed almost too perfect, too precise. I noticed the small things first. A phone call she would take outside, lowering her voice until it was almost a whisper. Documents she'd handle in private, never shared, even when transparency was required. Little glances exchanged with a few colleagues that made my stomach twist. I tried to ignore it. I told myself she was just meticulous, maybe a little secretive by nature. But intuition has a way of screaming louder than reason. Every whisper, every odd delay, every too smooth smile set off alarms I couldn't turn off. One afternoon, I overheard a snippet of her conversation while she thought no one was listening. "Make sure it stays under the radar. He can't know." Yet, my heart stopped. Under the radar. Who was he? Me? Someone else? I couldn't tell. I approached her later, casually. "Everything okay?" I asked, hoping to sound normal. She smiled. That unreadable smile. "Of course. Just juggling some deadlines." Her voice was calm, but the weight behind it made me uneasy. I knew then that whatever was happening, she wasn't just another colleague. She was playing a game, and I wasn't sure if I was already a player or just a pawn. By the end of the week, I started noticing patterns. Emily always knew more than she should. She had access to things that weren't shared publicly. She asked questions that hinted she knew the answers before anyone else did. I wanted to confront her, but something held me back. A mix of fear and curiosity. I had to know what she was hiding, but I also feared the truth. One thing was certain, whatever was coming, it wasn't going to be simple. And it wasn't going to be fair. Emily had already tilted the board, and I had no idea how to play. That night, I sat at my desk long after everyone left, thinking about her, wondering if I was imagining it all or if the storm I sensed was already beginning. It happened on a Friday evening. Most of the office had cleared out, leaving only the hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional click of a keyboard. I was sorting through project files, trying to wrap up for the week, when I noticed a USB drive sticking out of the corner of Emily's desk drawer. Curiosity overtook caution. I picked it up. Inside, I found files that didn't make sense. Not work-related files, not harmless personal notes, something else. Spreadsheets with coded names, encrypted folders, emails with cryptic references, to deadlines that didn't match the project schedule. And then, the thing that made my stomach drop, documents outlining meetings and financial transfers that seemed deliberately hidden from everyone, including me. I sat there, the glow of the monitor reflecting off my stunned face. Emily's smile from our first meeting flashed in my mind, calm, calculated, and readable. Now it made sense in a terrifying way. The emails mentioned someone named R. Someone she didn't discuss in meetings, someone whose involvement was secret, vital, and, judging by the tone, potentially dangerous. I wanted to confront her immediately, but I hesitated. Part of me screamed to demand answers. The other part knew that diving in headfirst could ruin everything, even if I had every right to ask. Instead, I did what I always do when faced with uncertainty. I observed. The next morning, I watched her interactions carefully. Every glance, every message, every whispered conversation I could catch, it all started to make sense. She wasn't just secretive. She was deliberately constructing a world around her that excluded me. And somehow, I had stumbled onto it. By the afternoon, the reality hit me like a punch. This wasn't small. This wasn't harmless. Emily's hidden life, whatever it was, had consequences that were about to spill into mine. I left work early that day, heart pounding, mind racing. Emily waved goodbye, her smile the same as always, but now it felt different, almost like a challenge. And I realized one terrifying truth. I didn't just want to know what she was hiding. I needed to know, because the moment I didn't, I could lose more than just trust. I could lose everything.
Subscribe to the channel and like this video.
The next Monday, the office felt different. Every conversation, every glance, every casual remark carried weight. Emily was the same on the surface, calm, precise, effortlessly charming, but I noticed the subtle shifts, the tightening of her jaw, the slight hesitation in her smile, the almost imperceptible glance at me when no one else was looking. I tried to act normal, but my mind was constantly running scenarios, questioning motives, tracing hidden patterns. By mid-morning, the tension became unbearable. "Alex, could you check these numbers?" Emily asked, handing me a stack of files. Her voice was steady, but there was an edge, almost like she was testing me. I took the files, my heart racing. "Sure," I said, though I couldn't hide the ease in my voice. We worked in silence, the hum of printers and distant chatter filling the void. Then it happened. "You've been snooping," she said suddenly, without looking up. I froze. "Excuse me, you know what I mean," she continued, finally meeting my gaze. Her eyes were sharp, piercing, going through things that aren't yours, assuming things about me, judging me. I swallowed hard. "Emily, it's not about judging. I found documents, emails, files of things that don't make sense. I need to understand why." She set her pen down slowly, a smirk tugging at the corner of her lips. "You want the truth. The truth is messy, dangerous, maybe more than you're ready to handle. I think I can handle it," I said firmly, though doubt gnawed at me. She leaned back, folding her arms. "Can you? Because once you know, there's no going back. And it won't just change how you see me. It'll change everything. Everyone." Her words hung in the air like smoke, thick and suffocating. I realized she wasn't bluffing. Whatever game she was playing, it had rules I didn't understand, stakes I couldn't even imagine. By the end of the day, the tension between us had shifted. We weren't just colleagues now. We were adversaries, partners in a dangerous dance. Neither of us fully controlled. And the deeper I dug, the more I understood that Emily's secrets weren't just files on a USB drive. They were threads that, if pulled the wrong way, could unravel everything I thought I knew about my life, my career, and even her. Walking home that evening, I felt the weight of inevitability. This wasn't a project anymore. This was personal. And the question that haunted me all the way home was simple, yet terrifying. Did I really want to know what she was capable of? I couldn't stop thinking about the USB drive and the files. Each night, I replayed every interaction with Emily, trying to connect the dots, to find a reason, a pattern. Something in her behavior suggested that it wasn't just office politics or hidden agendas, that something bigger was at play. So, I started digging, carefully, methodically. I traced the emails to their sources, cross-checked names, and looked for patterns in financial transactions. It wasn't easy. Emily was meticulous, leaving almost no trace. But the more I looked, the more I realized that some of these projects weren't about work at all. They involved other people, strangers, people who seemed distant but were inexplicably tied to her. Then came the first real shock. One evening, a package arrived at my apartment. No return address, just a note: "Stop digging, or it won't just be your curiosity that suffers." My heart raced. Who knew I was investigating? How did they know where I lived? I realized then that Emily's world wasn't just secretive. It was dangerous, and unknowingly, I had stepped right into it. The next day, I confronted her, trying to keep my voice calm. "Emily, there's something going on. I need to know what this is about. And I need to know now." Her expression didn't change. She tilted her head slightly, considering me. "Do you really want to know, Alex? Because once you see the truth, there's no turning back. It's not just secrets or hidden files, it's lives, consequences, things you can't control." I swallowed hard. "I don't care. I need to understand, for both our sakes." She studied me for a long moment, then finally nodded, almost imperceptibly. "Fine, but know this: what you uncover will change everything. And some doors, once opened, cannot be closed." From that moment, the office felt like a cage. Every interaction, every glance, every whispered conversation carried weight. People I thought were friends seemed distant, suspicious. Every step I took brought me closer to a truth I wasn't sure I could handle, the truth that I realized could put both of us at risk. Out walking home that night, I felt the weight of inevitability pressing down. Emily wasn't just a mystery to unravel. She was a warning, and whatever lay ahead, it wouldn't just affect our project or our careers, it could change our lives forever. The following week was a blur. Every day, I found myself on edge, scanning every corner of the office, listening to every conversation, catching every subtle hint. Emily moved through it all with that same calm, but the stakes were rising fast. It started with small signs. A colleague, someone I barely knew, suddenly disappeared from meetings. Another was reprimanded for something minor, but the way it was handled seemed orchestrated, like someone was testing the boundaries, seeing how far they could push. And then, the first real threat emerged. My apartment had been broken into. Nothing stolen, but everything was moved, a silent message left for me to understand. My mind raced. Emily, someone connected to her, or both. I confronted her again. This time, I couldn't contain my frustration. "Emily, people are getting hurt. Something's going on. And it's tied to you. You have to tell me the truth." She leaned against the desk, arms crossed, studying me like I was the puzzle. "Truth. The truth is dangerous, Alex. You think you're ready to handle it, but you're not. Some things, some people aren't meant to be exposed until they decide you're ready. Ready. Lives are at risk." I shouted, my voice cracking. Her gaze softened for a fleeting second, almost like regret. "I warned you. I told you some doors can't be closed once opened, and now you're seeing why." Over the next few days, I realized she wasn't lying. The hidden world she operated in was intricate and dangerous. Every file, every secret, every coded message was a thread leading to something bigger, something I wasn't prepared for, but I couldn't turn back. Curiosity, fear, and a strange sense of responsibility drove me forward. The more I uncovered, the more I saw that Emily was both the architect and the guardian of this chaos. And as much as I wanted to confront her fully, I knew one wrong move could destroy us both. By the end of the week, I was exhausted, mentally and emotionally. Emily walked past me in the office, smiling as usual, and for a moment, I almost believed it was still normal. Almost. But I knew better. The storm had started, and I was caught in it, whether I wanted to be or not. I started noticing it in subtle ways. My phone would ring late at night with numbers I didn't recognize. Messages vanished before I could read them. And someone I wasn't sure who was seemed to be watching my apartment. Every shadow on the street felt like a threat. Emily, of course, remained calm. She would smile, laugh at my jokes, and act as if nothing had changed, but I knew better. There was an invisible barrier between us now, one I couldn't cross without consequences. One evening, I came home to find my mailbox rifled through. Nothing was taken, just a warning: stop, or you'll regret it. My hands shook as I held the note. My heart was pounding, and a cold fear settled in my stomach. I called Emily immediately. "Did you know about this?" I demanded. She hesitated, then spoke softly. "I warned you, Alex. Some doors aren't meant to be opened. You're playing a game now, one with stakes you can't even imagine." I wanted answers, but more than that, I wanted to understand her motives. I asked, "Why involve me? Why me?" Her eyes softened briefly, almost humanly. "Because you saw it. You're the only one who can, who should, who might understand. But you're stepping into territory that's dangerous for both of us." I realized then that Emily wasn't just secretive. She was protective in her own way. She had built a world with rules I couldn't comprehend, and I had trespassed. The lines between ally and enemy, friend and foe, were blurred beyond recognition. Over the next few days, people I thought were trustworthy avoided me, warnings subtle but unmistakable. Emily's world was closing in, and I was caught inside. And yet, a part of me couldn't stop. Every step I took, every risk I calculated, I was drawn deeper into her orbit, captivated by her mind, terrified by her secrets. That night, I sat by the window, staring out at the city lights, wondering how I had gotten here. How had a simple Monday meeting led to this? To fear, to danger, to a woman whose very existence was wrapped in mystery, whose every move could change the course of my life forever. The revelation came slowly, like a shadow stretching across a room. I started piecing together snippets. Conversations I'd overheard, emails I'd found, subtle hints in her behavior. Each clue, each tiny observation, led me closer to understanding what Emily's real motives were. It wasn't just about control at work, or a secret personal agenda. There was something larger, a plan she had carefully constructed over months, possibly years. And I had stumbled right into the middle of it. One evening, while reviewing some files I had managed to copy discreetly, I noticed patterns that didn't make sense at first. Certain names kept appearing, tied to transactions, meetings, and locations that had nothing to do with our project. Then it hit me: Emily wasn't manipulating just the office. She was managing people, situations, events, all as part of a larger strategy that seemed both brilliant and dangerous. I confronted her quietly, in a moment when no one else was around. "Emily, I think I understand now. Why are you doing this? What's the endgame?" She looked at me, her eyes reflecting a mixture of pride and caution. "Endgame, Alex. It's not about winning or losing. It's about survival, influence, making sure the right pieces are in place before anyone notices. Some things, some truths, if revealed too soon, could destroy people, and not just projects, not just careers." I was stunned. "People, you mean lives?" She nodded slowly. "Exactly, lives. And now that you know, you're a part of it whether you like it or not." A chill ran down my spine. This wasn't a puzzle or a game anymore. This was real. Lives were at stake, and Emily's calm demeanor hid a storm I wasn't sure I was ready to face. That night, I realized the magnitude of the situation. Everything I thought I knew about Emily, about our work, about the office, it was only the surface. The deeper I went, the more I understood that her secrets were protective, strategic, and dangerously precise. And now, with this knowledge, I had to decide: do I pull back, pretending I never knew? Or do I dive deeper, risking everything to uncover the full truth? I chose to dive. I knew I couldn't stay on the sidelines any longer. The files, the cryptic emails, the subtle threats, they demanded action. I began following leads discreetly, tracking patterns, noticing connections that no one else seemed to see. The first sign that I was getting too close came one evening on my way home. A shadow lingered near my apartment building, a single figure, standing motionless, watching. I felt my heart race and my instincts sharpen. Someone knew I was digging. Someone was waiting. I tried to shake it off, telling myself it was paranoia. But deep down I knew better. Every move I made from that point on was calculated, cautious, yet driven by a need to uncover the truth. Emily noticed the change immediately. Her calm demeanor cracked slightly, a flicker of concern in her eyes. "Alex, you're going too far," she warned quietly one afternoon. "I have to," I said, my voice steady but tense. "I need to know what's really going on before it's too late. I can't just sit back." She studied me, her expression unreadable. "Some truths aren't meant for you, Alex. And the closer you get, the more you risk, not just your career, not just your safety. Others are involved now, and they don't play fair." Despite the warning, I pressed forward. Every clue I uncovered tied Emily to people and situations far beyond the office, dealings that were strategic, dangerous, and lethal if exposed. The weight of what I was getting into pressed down on me, but I couldn't stop. I had to understand, had to see the bigger picture. One night, while reviewing surveillance footage I had secretly obtained, I saw a figure approaching Emily outside the building, someone she hadn't expected. The way she reacted, subtle but immediate, showed me just how high the stakes were. It wasn't just about secrets anymore, it was about survival. I realized then that Emily had been shielding me all along. Her actions, while mysterious and manipulative, had kept me alive up to this point. But now, as I moved closer to the truth, the danger was real. And I understood that my decisions from here on out could change everything forever. It happened on a Thursday night. The streets were empty, the city lights reflecting off wet asphalt from the earlier rain. I had just left the office, carrying files I'd copied discreetly. And every instinct told me I wasn't alone. Then I felt it, a hand on my shoulder, firm and sudden, spinning me around. Two figures emerged from the shadows, blocking my way. My heart hammered. I had expected threats, warnings, maybe subtle intimidation, but never a direct attack. "Who sent you?" I demanded. Though my voice betrayed my fear. No answer. A shove, a flash of steel, and instinct took over. I ducked, grabbed the nearest object, a metal pipe lying near a fire escape, and swung. The first assailant staggered back, but the second advanced. My mind raced, calculating, reacting, fighting for survival. Suddenly, a familiar voice cut through the tension. "Alex, move!" Emily, calm, precise, moving with a controlled grace I had never seen before. She intercepted one of the attackers, her movements deliberate and exact, forcing him back, buying me time. "Why are you involved in this?" I gasped, barely keeping my balance. She didn't answer directly. "Because it's my world. And now, it's yours too, whether you like it or not." Within moments, the attackers realized they were outmatched. They fled, disappearing into the dark streets as silently as they had appeared. My chest heaved, adrenaline surging, and I looked at Emily, not just the woman I worked with, but someone who had just saved my life. For the first time, I understood the stakes. This wasn't about secrets or projects anymore. It was life and death, and whatever truth I was chasing, it came at a cost I was only beginning to comprehend. Walking home that night, I couldn't shake the thought. Emily's world was dangerous, yes, but it was also terrifyingly protective. She had shields in place, rules I didn't understand, and allies I couldn't see. And now, as I stepped further into that world, I realized that my life and everything I cared about could change in an instant. The next days were a whirlwind of planning, observation, and tense coordination. Emily and I moved carefully, each step measured, knowing that any miscalculation could be disastrous. The office, the city streets, even casual meetings, nothing was safe anymore. Emily revealed more of her strategy. "We need to anticipate their moves," she said, spreading out maps and documents across the dining table at her apartment. "If we react, we're already too late. Timing is everything." I listened, trying to absorb the intricacies of her plan, realizing how brilliant and dangerous it was. People I had considered colleagues, friends, even distant acquaintances were connected in ways I couldn't fully grasp. The network she navigated was like a spider web, and one wrong move could shatter everything. We began identifying who might be behind the attacks. Clues led us to unexpected places: a competitor company, a former associate with grudges, even people from Emily's past who seemed benign but were anything but. As we worked late into the night, Side by side, a strange sense of connection formed. For all her secrecy and manipulation, Emily's protective instincts were undeniable. She wasn't just hiding, she was shielding me from dangers I never saw coming. But tension simmered. Every time a shadow passed the window or an unknown number rang my phone, I felt the weight of inevitability pressing down. The threats weren't abstract anymore, they were tangible, looming. And closer than we realized. "We have to be ready," Emily whispered one night, her hand brushing mine briefly. "When it happens, there won't be time to hesitate." I nodded, my jaw tight, heart racing. "I'm ready. Let's end this." And in that moment, as we finalized our plans, I understood fully. The climax was coming. Whatever truth lay at the center of Emily's world, whatever danger had been stalking us, it would arrive soon. And this time, there was no turning back. The night arrived faster than I anticipated. Every plan, every precaution, every calculated move had led to this moment. Emily and I had positioned ourselves in the heart of the city, where the network of threats intersected, and the weight of inevitability pressed down like never before. I felt my pulse in my throat, every muscle tense. Emily's eyes were sharp, her calm unwavering, but I could see the strain beneath the surface, the burden she carried silently for so long. "They're here," she whispered, scanning the dimly lit streets. "And they know we're ready." The first figures emerged from the shadows, moving swiftly, silently. Men and women I had never met, yet somehow knew the rules, the pattern, the way to cut us off. My breath caught. I realized fully how deep Emily's world ran and how fragile our control really was. A confrontation erupted in seconds. Voices shouted, orders barked, and in the chaos, Emily moved with uncanny precision, disarming and redirecting threats while keeping me safe. I fought beside her, instincts sharpened by fear and adrenaline, each moment feeling like a lifetime. Then came the revelation. One of the attackers, cornered, pleaded desperately, "She's been controlling everything. You don't understand, she's been manipulating more than you think." Emily froze, eyes narrowing. "And you?" she asked. "Did you think you could play without consequences?" The tension broke when a hidden ally emerged as someone I'd considered neutral, suddenly turning against the network. Betrayals and alliances shifted in an instant, secrets surfacing with every heartbeat. I watched as Emily navigated the chaos, her strategy flawless, every move protective, every decision precise. Finally, the last threat neutralized, silence fell. The city lights reflected off wet streets. The storm of danger passed, but the truth exposed. Emily turned to me, eyes softening. "It's over. For now." I exhaled, feeling the exhaustion, the adrenaline. The weight lifted slightly, but beneath the relief, I understood the cost. Every secret revealed, every danger faced, every decision made had changed us, our trust, our bond, our perception of the world. "I never knew," I whispered, voice trembling. "I didn't know you were protecting me all along." Emily smiled faintly, a mixture of relief and weariness. "I had to. You were never just a colleague, Alex. You were the one I needed to keep safe." We stood there for a long moment, catching our breath, absorbing the aftermath. The city was quiet again, but the lessons remained. Trust, love, danger, and loyalty all intertwined in ways I would never forget. And as we walked away together, I realized something profound. The truth might be dangerous, but facing it together made us stronger.
Subscribe to the channel and like this video.